Competitive Dokkan is almost here. What is Million Arena, and how can you prepare? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We got another Dokkan Battle video for you here today. We have the announcement of a brand new challenge event, the Million Arena. So we're going to spend time in this video talking about what is this event, what we can expect from it, and what are some things we can do to prepare for its arrival on June 9th. So let's go ahead, let's hop on in. We have a brand new competitive event where we will climb to the top of the rankings by surviving an enemy's attack and dealing massive damage. First off, this definitely sounds like some form of return of the chain battle. The wording here seems to be very similar to the way they describe explosive chain battle when it was in its heyday, an event that has been long gone for over a year now. So finally, it does seem to be making a comeback. The producers did mention they were going to find a way to rework it to make it more user-friendly. One of the big things that people had a problem with it, and it seems like this is their way to reintroduce it. Or so it seems. Regardless, it will be coming in two modes, a tournament mode and a single player mode, with 3 stages on each: the preliminary, the semi-final, and the final. In the single player mode, each added stage will be given in a timely manner, so it seems, with the preliminary, semi-final, and final seemingly being tied to your ability as an individual player to gain certain score thresholds. The tournament mode, however, works slightly different. There will be a preliminary, a semi-final, and a final, with the final result announcements coming soon after. In order to proceed to each stage, rather than it being tied to your own individual score and mission completion, it will be tied to your score ranked amongst other players. For the advancement from preliminary to the semi-final, they will be taking the top 100,000 players. Those players who gain a score to enter the semi-finals will be given a limited key that allows them to attempt the next stage via this portal of memories. After that, they will do a calculation period and determine the top 30,000 players. The top 30,000 players will receive a limited key that allows them to attempt the final stage within the portal of memories. After that, there will be a final calculation period where they will select the top 30 scorers and be given rewards from there. I'm assuming an exclusive title and possibly more. In fact, we don't really know much about the rewards from here. Hopefully it is similar to the Chain Battle rewards, where we get tickets or something for getting exclusive skill orbs or more stones, right? Maybe, you know, the top winners get like a big amount of stones, right? If you're getting top 30, that's got to be worth something, right? But regardless, you know, there will be some type of reward for the top players, and I imagine smaller rewards for single player and the various steps should you make them to them. I could even see them adding like some type of mission, like category mission types based on like effective type characters for the single player mode. We won't know till we know, but I imagine the rewards will be worth it if it is competitive, right? They got to make it, you know, worth your time. So the question is then, well, how do you compete? What can you do to get ready? Well, first thing you got to do is you have to link your Bandai Namco ID. So let's go ahead and let's just take a moment. Let's show you how to do that real quick. All you have to do is navigate to the in-game menu. All you have to do is go over to the Bandai Namco ID linking and click where it says Bandai Namco linking. They do make it so very, very easy for you. Now, most players have probably done this as part of your beginner missions. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is a beginner mission that gives you 25 stones for doing this. So if you haven't done this already, make sure you do so. You can either link an existing account or create a new account here. Now, I'm not going to unlink my own account here, but should you need to do so, all you do is click on it and then enter your account. It'll prompt you to enter your account information or create a new account, right, if you haven't ever created one. Now, if you've played a Dragon Ball game within the last 3 years or so, you have probably made a Bandai Namco ID, all right? And if you've forgotten, just go to the website and request a new password or request a new login, whatever you need to do. Just link it here in the in-game menu. If you don't link it here through the game, it will not link, and you will not be able to participate in the Million Arena. So make sure you do that now before the preparation period begins. Now, you may be wondering, well, when is that preparation period? Well, we do know that scheduled for the 9th, 3:30 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time to 8 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time, there is to be a scheduled server maintenance. Now, this is kind of a shorter maintenance than usual, and it does seem to be tied to the return of the one stone hidden potential change, right? Usually they have to do a maintenance in order to make that change, but we could also safely assume that there will probably be some connection to the implementation of this new mode in that maintenance and subsequent data download. It is the more than likely scenario, which is why they're announcing it now. They're giving you a week to get yourself linked, logged in, so you can be prepared. One thing to note on the rewards, I was thinking about this. This is just kind of random off the cuff here, but the Kid Vegeta Super Strike event is getting made daily here. Now, normally I would think nothing of this is just some random, hey, here's this Super Strike event, you can grind daily if you need it, but this is scheduled to go live on the 11th, and there is also, in the previous data download, there was an update to the Kid Vegeta's battle sprites, which normally coincides with an Easy A, but it could also coincide with a new character, meaning it's possible one of the rewards connected to this is a new Kid Vegeta, maybe? Hard to say, we won't know till we know, but just an odd little coincidence here that I thought I would bring up. Now, the question you may be having is, finally, is what can you do to prepare? If we assume that this is the revamp for Chain Battle, which seems very likely by the description that they use, there are a few things we can actually do right now to have ourselves ready for when this comes. For those that don't know, if you're newer to the game, you may not know Chain Battle, or maybe you just never took the time to learn. One of the things you need to know about Chain Battle is the way it, Chain Battle basically gave you a boss, right? So this is the Hirudegarn one, for example. And it told you there are 3 categories that you can use to take on the boss that will deal extra damage. So in this case, it was Sibling Spawn, Final Trump Card, and Transformation Boost. So you would always want to use characters. Let's see if this will actually open up and show. Yeah, so you would want to use characters like this who are on the category. If you didn't use these characters, you were probably not going to be landing high scores. And the problem is that was connected. These characters were not your own, right? Like maybe you would use your attacker, like the LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku would be an attacking unit, and then the rest would be lined up with supporters of these characters here, the Gohans, the Tapions, the other Super Saiyan 3 Gokus. You would typically want them to be all good characters who link together. So you would, in this case, you wanted to throw in as up to 10 different Super Saiyan 3 Gokus that you may have had, since they would all be good link partners, they would synergize well, and the rest would be history. Now, the thing is these were not your own units, right? You would put up your own supporters, but you would not be using these supporters in order to get your score, and this was the biggest complaint of Chain Battle. What you had to do was go to places like Reddit here and find a bunch of people who also needed help, exchange friend codes, and then you would use their supporters, and that assumed they wanted to even work with you in the first place. A lot of people, had trouble finding people to get on and stay on friends list. Now, that wasn't to say that there weren't places out there like the DBC Discord server. Loved switching out, friends for people who really needed help, and Reddit itself had pinned posts that they would do whenever it would come out. But regardless, it was definitely very, very whale friend. It was definitely a mode more for whales. People who had multiple copies of the units, and unfortunately, there may be a version of this, right? Still allowing people to utilize their second, third, maybe fourth copies of a unit. And basically, the more copies of a unit you had, the more you could fill out the supporters here, right? If you can see the image here, right? Like this person had multiple copies of different trunks, SSRs, and TURs, etc., and that helped them get a higher score. And you could just keep doing that, once, twice, up to 5 times a day until you got the score that you wanted, as long as you had enough friends to cover. So, if we assume that there will be some sort of similar situation, but more so your own characters, one of the things you can do to prepare is go ahead and head over and take a look at your box, right? Find, a set of characters that you have multiple copies of and start feeding in those dupes. So I'm going to use DB Saga here as our example since we are in the town celebration. Possible that this new event, right, the first category we might be dealing with is DB Saga. So if I come and I find, like Path to Power Kid Goku here, right, he's a DB Saga unit. I've got multiple copies of him. I'm going to go ahead and train one up here. I'm not going to, he does have a grindable super attack, so if you have the SA for him, use it. I don't have any extra SA for Kid Goku right now, so I'm not going to grind out the super attack. But what you could do is go ahead, do this, awaken him, right? So train him up, awaken him, and then feed in the dupes. Now, all right, so I'm going to feed in these extra dupes of my extra Path to Power Kid Goku. Since I've already made the changes to his hidden potential, my original, I don't need to worry about this. And even then, I still have a ton of extra copies. Those who saw my Kid Goku summons know how this went. And then just fill in the hidden potential, right? And then when I go and I grind out the SA for this guy, I'll fill in the rest of the hidden potential, rainbow him, right? Now that we have the revamp to the daily orb events, it's much easier to get some orbs, so you can take advantage of that to fill out the hidden potential for these guys. It is definitely going to be worth your time, and you'll do this for however many characters are on the effective category. So you see now I have him completely duped out. It's not going to be easy, and I imagine just like in the previous chain battle, you will the higher SA you have, the more hidden potential you have filled out, the greater it is going to impact your score. Hopefully they don't make it too reliant on the friend supporters, but rather allow you to use your own supporters, or at least your own attacker be the primary driver of the score. We'll have to see how it plays out. We won't know, but I'm just telling you now, one of the things you can and likely should do is start looking at the units that you do have multiple copies of and filling them out. Doesn't matter the category. I'm assuming DB Saga just because that's the celebration we're in. Could also be something from mission execution, right? Like if we were, because that is Tao's thing here, right? If we were to go here, boom, right? I could, maybe fill out my Boo or my Pycon, depending on what the characters they need end up being. Again, this is all speculative in terms of what you can do to prepare, but I mean, you just don't want to find yourself being unprepared when it finally does launch next week. You want to get those rewards, even if you don't place in the top 30. That's something probably going to be pretty hard to do. You probably still want to be giving it a shot, giving it your best shot, so you can get those sweet rewards that are coming for them. We know that we are in preparation for GDC, so I would bet that this is probably going to give a pretty good amount of stones. So guys, that is it for the video. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and in the comments down below, let us know, what do you think of this new event? Does it seem like something interesting to you? Are you a little worried that it might be more whale or friendly, or that it might be Chain Battle 2.0? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.